Priscilla Nwikpo is an award-winning media personality who is as engaging and entertaining as she's thought-provoking in her presentations and interviews. With a career that spans the realms of TV and radio, Priscilla is truly a powerful, result-driven and focused individual. She was born in Nigeria and moved with her family to London in her early teens. It was a move considered to providing the best of both worlds. Her early years in Nigeria had given the necessary grounding that has gone a long way in forming and shaping the personality that she is today. Priscilla's background is in law and she has worked with various firms of solicitors as a caseworker, where her influence and skills that generate worldwide interest both on TV and radio were developed. Her career in media was kick-started when Priscilla accepted the invitation to become one of the creative brains and co-editors behind Enrichment magazine. It was a move that paved the way for Priscilla as a commentator on radio and a personality on television. She is my guest on the Justeve Show today. You're welcome back. This is just the Justeve Show, and I have as guests in the studio with me a lawyer, right, turned broadcaster, who is telling us her journey of how stubborn she was. Forgive me for using that word, but there's no other word I can use.
I wouldn't call it stubborn.
Well, what else? What else is it?
Well,
it was like, okay, you were rebelling.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you started the TV aspect of You Decide. Is that that's it? And you've gone on to do so well. This is somebody who says she has no idea about politics, and you've actually become a bit controversial with some of your views.
Yes.
Right. Recently we had this issue. Well, I'm going to bring back your legal whatever into about some judges.
Yes.
In
Nigeria. Yeah.
Just briefly, what are your thoughts on?
Well, you know, I believe that if the judges are corrupt, deal with them. But I think we must not ignore due process. Due process is there for a reason. My concern and my worry with this administration is that we've seen so many headlines of this one is corrupt, that one's a thief, they stole this amount, they did this, they did that, but no convictions at the end of the day. And I don't think Nigerians are, you know, interested in the headlines. If we're going to, corruption is not going to go out of our system if we don't actually convict people for the wrongs. It's not enough to break down somebody's door at 1 a.m. In the name of I'm fighting corruption, and then you release them the next day and that's the end of it. That for me is a colossal waste of time and money of the Nigerian people. You know, due process, get all the evidence together. One of the biggest problems that the EFCC, the DSS, and all of these agencies in Nigeria have is that they don't seem to follow due process and gather the evidence. You would find that in previous administrations, they've gotten to court, and most of these cases have been thrown out. Why? Because they didn't follow due process. They didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Okay. I just wanted to hear you talk politics that you said you know nothing about. Let's come back to broadcasting. Now, you've won a couple of awards.
Yes.
Yes. Could you just name a few for us?
Oh, God. I got the Media Woman of the Year for Women for Africa 2014. I also got the Media Personality, I think it was, C-Hub. I also have... I was amongst 100 Nigerians that are making a difference by the African Achievers Award. I have, there was a...
Okay, there are actually so many. But well done, congratulations. That's very, very good. And I'm sure by the time, you know, when you were starting out on this journey, you had no idea that, how many years down the line? Is it 4, 5, 6 years down the line? That
5 years down the line, yeah.
5 years,
yeah.
That you'll be here.
No, I mean, don't forget, I had no plans to be down this road. So So it's all a nice surprise. Yeah.
Okay. And now, talking about your foundation, what you said you want to help people who don't have a voice. You know,
Yeah.
how did that come about? Is there any particular thing that happened in your life or an experience you had that made you say, I want to set this up?
Well, you know, as I said earlier about my having the best of both worlds, growing up in England, I realized that being here, I was able to you know, just be me. I had a voice. I could say what I want to say, and I could, you know, there were so many, yeah. And I thought back to Nigeria, and I thought back to where I was coming from and what I saw around me. And I thought, you know, I could give something back. For instance, as women, something that I think we can all understand it. As I was growing as a young woman, I got my first letter, I think, at the age of 18 or something. I must attend my doctor's for a smear test. I had no idea what that was all about. And then I had to make an appointment and go and see my doctor. And we do the smear test, and it happens every 3 years. Now, and I thought to myself, who in Nigeria writes to who about a smear test? This is something that the government knows. By your date of birth, you're in the system, and you know your local the local medical authority in your area have you down, and they remind you, they plead with you.
Yeah, they actually plead, yes,
to please come and have this test that is for your own good. And that was one of the first things that just hit me, and I thought, wow, well, you know, I could do something, I could give something back, and that was why I sort of, you know, I started that.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we continue with this discussion. Very, very interesting.
None of that to matter. What matters is, can you get to the very top?
In marking the end of Black History Month, Prime Minister David Cameron visited a number of venues in the West Midlands. At the Drum in Birmingham, he was shown some paintings by the Chief Executive Officer, Charles Moore. He also had a brief chat with some of the artists whose paintings were being exhibited.
If I put it into iTunes, if I put it in Spotify, will I get a result? Fantastic. Okay, I've got one. Very good. That's brilliant Spotify, yeah?
Yes, it's pretty good.
Change my life. Right. What about you?
My name is Tisha. I'm 17 and I've been working for a couple of years as part of the Young People's Program called Young People Show. And I've done a lot of performances here.
What sort of stuff?
One of my most favourites was the King's Horseman by Warren singing. And I had a main role and I worked with an artist called Design for Life. Really good.
Prime Minister granted an exclusive interview to Ben Television.
Thank you, sir. Given that it's Black History Month, what are you satisfied so far with what your team has done, and can more be done to encourage more Black history?
I think Black History Month is important because, frankly, history without Black history isn't complete history. And also, it's important to teach people about the incredible role models from their past. It's also important we have a shared history in this country. It helps us to build a shared future. I was listening to my daughter at the end of her Black History Month telling me about some of the things that she had learned. Now, I wasn't taught all that at school, and I think it's important we do teach young people about these things. So it's good to have Black History Month. Of course, these things should become more mainstream in our curriculum over time, but I think Black History Month is worth supporting.
And not only that, but to also direct people as to where they could go for help, and also to tell them about, I mean, we were meeting people that were HIV positive and had no idea what it was or how it can affect those around them. I often see that people are in a rush, people are in a hurry to, you know, be famous, to be known, to be seen. And that's there's nothing wrong with that to an extent. But like all things in life, pay attention.
What do you do specifically in helping?
What we started doing was that, okay, it was a situation where when you go back, because for me, the foundation is more about looking after people in rural communities, not so much those in the city. Because I think that people within the rural communities are often forgotten. Yes, we have local governments, but those local governments are not operated or running as they ought to. So we started doing just basic medical outreaches. And it was amazing, what we saw, what we got. It was very, very interesting that how it lifted people, that somebody would just come and just say, let's just check you out today. Let's see how you're feeling. And it was good to collate the results, put that together and understand in that community what the general ailments were. And not only that, but to also direct people as to where they could go for help. And also to tell them about, I mean, we were meeting people that were HIV positive and had no idea what it was or how it can affect those around them. And so there was also the aspect of being able to give education. So that was, it was great. And then, you know, when I got into the media, things sort of went on hold, but we're going back to go back and do that again.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll even be able to do a lot more now that you have a
Absolutely,
face.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now you have a daughter.
Yes, I do.
And does she take after you in any way? Would she want to be a broadcaster?
Well, you know, one thing I did observe about her, you know, from a very early age is that she's very analytical. And she's a smart girl. But then, you know, she has my blessing to make her own choice. Okay. I'm only there to guide her, to say, well, if you're looking to this, it gives you more options. We speak a lot about options and, you know, making sure that we set ourselves in that place where we have options.
Okay. I want to ask you now, as a broadcaster, you've been in the industry for, you know, not as long, really, you know. Do you have, how do I put this now? What do you think about the young, upcoming broadcasters?
What do I think?
Who want to get, well, who crave for, how am I going to put this? Crave the fame and all of that.
You know, what I would say to people is this, and I see it. I often see that people are in a rush, people are in a hurry to, you know, be famous, to be known, to be seen. And there's nothing wrong with that to an extent. But like all things in life, pay attention. When I came in, there were a lot of questions I didn't ask. There were a lot of things I didn't do. One of the things I would say that I did was that I just turned up. If they said to me, are you available tomorrow to go to Ouagadougou? I would turn up, ready with my passport to go to Ouagadougou. I didn't ask questions of, oh, how much am I going to get paid or who would it? And that I found helped me. Because of my availability, it was easier for me to be, they were more ready to say to me, Priscilla, can you go here? Priscilla, can you do this? Priscilla, can you do that? Because I was more available. So for the younger people that come in, I will say take your time, learn, you know, be available and be prepared to learn. And just, you know, because we all have our moments. We all have our day, we all have our time. Your time, your moment, your day will come. But if you're in a hurry for it...
Okay, let me cut you there, because you actually need to say what you're saying now. Say that into this camera.
Okay.
Yes.
Your time, your moment, your day will come. So don't be in a hurry for it, because sometimes when we rush for it, you either miss it by going too soon into it or by coming afterwards. You don't want that. Just take your time, but you need to learn. Very, very important. Sometimes the people that teach you the most and the best are not the kindest of people either.
No, they're not. No, I can testify to that.
You get me. Yeah, so, you know, I would, you know, for all the young people out there that want to get into it, once that door of opportunity is open to you, just take your time and learn whatever is before you, and you'll be the best.
Okay, we have to go in a minute. Where do we see Priscilla in 5 years?
Oh my God, in 5 years, we hope to see Priscilla perhaps pioneering something new, teaching others, encouraging others that are coming up, opening doors for others if we can, whatever it is that we can do for the, you know, to help humanity and for those that are coming into the industry. If we're still here, if God hasn't sent us somewhere else.
Where's God sent you? God is not sending you.
But whatever
anywhere.
we've gathered here, we will certainly pass it on.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That's nice. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for coming on the show today. But just one last thing. I normally give my guests either a challenge or I throw a surprise at them. I've searched and searched and searched. What challenge can I give Priscilla? And I've not been able to find any.
Are you serious?
Yeah, which means that you're a very strong woman. so instead, both of us, you and I, we're going to have a spa day out.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Oh, when? How soon? That would be fantastic.
Yes, we're going to do that.
Oh, that's
We're going
great.
to do that. Thank you so much. Can I give you a hug?
Oh, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, that's our show for today. I've had so much fun with my good friend Priscilla on the show. I'm sure we're going to do this again sometime soon. Until then, I remain Evelyn Obahor. Goodbye and God bless.
It was absolutely catastrophic. Priscilla Nwikpo, you're nodding along to that.
I am, because I agree with it. The structural programs didn't work at all. And I think what these institutions failed to take into account at the time was that the world is moving forward. Having somebody like Dr. Obi within the organization, I don't think she would have had the necessary liberty to be able to make huge changes. But it is true to say that today, the World Bank and the IMF are starting to move towards changes because the world is changing. Everybody's becoming more alert. You know, the age of the internet makes us all very, very informed. And if we want that information, we will find it, so they can no longer hide.
Okay, let me ask you this, Obi. If you were given a magic wand to wave over the World Bank and the IMF, what would you change to make it work better in the interests of Africa that you weren't able to do when you worked there?
I will define an exit date for them.
Define an exit date for those institutions?
Yes.
Okay.
I did say to my then boss, President Zolik, that if we defined an exit date when everybody would be out of the door because the World Bank and the IMF is done with, it would put pressure on us to succeed at everything.
Thank you.